Are there pricing strategy lessons to be learned from the recent heavyweight title fight between Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder? I think so. Let's have a little fun and get into it. During the pandemic, I developed a fascination with boxing videos on YouTube. What possesses two men to go into a ring and literally beat the hell out of one another for 12 rounds? Over time, I came to appreciate the skills and the pageantry of the sweet science. So I was absolutely eager to watch the battle between the two heavyweight giants, Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury. The place to begin is with the pre-fight buildup. Fury and Wilder performed brilliantly to stoke the flames of their rivalry leading to this third fight. From poetry to insults to regalia, they set the stage for a packed house in Las Vegas and on pay-per-view. Lesson number 1. Perceived value leads the way. Your marketing sets the stage for effective pricing. Look at your business. Is your marketing creating excitement around your value drivers? And are you even clear what your key value drivers are, the ones that deliver the biggest bang for the buck for your customers? Of course, the last face-to-face showdown before the fight is the weigh-in. And these two men truly are giants. Deontay Wilder stands at 6'7" and 240 pounds, cut like a god. And Tyson Fury is 6'9" and 273, with his trademark spare tire. Both men are heavier than they've ever been, but Wilder put on over 20 pounds of pure muscle for the bout. According to Teddy Atlas, champion trainer and commentator, the key to the fight is evident during the weigh-in. Wilder put on too much muscle, according to Atlas, and was too cut. Where would he get the energy to fuel all that muscle for 12 rounds? Atlas predicted Wilder would simply run out of gas. Lesson number 2. Think about muscle mass here as your costs. Even the best pricing strategy can be hamstrung if your costs are too high. That could be product costs or service costs or even go-to-market costs. Moreover, the problem becomes more severe as you go through the product life cycle, as competitive intensity rises and margins tend to narrow. The two champion styles could not be more different. Fury comes from a British traveler boxing family, hence the moniker the Gypsy King. He has the skills to throw all the punches. He knows how to move and to avoid an attack. He uses his size and reach to great effect. Of all the fighters I have seen, he reminds me the most of Muhammad Ali, just a gawkier version of Muhammad Ali. And coming into the fight, Fury trained and put on a little weight to shore up his weakness, the power of his blows. Wilder came to boxing late, when he was 20 years old. He's a power puncher known as the Bronze Bomber. He earned that name with 41 knockouts in his 42 wins. Boom! You go down. His go-to punches are hooks and uppercuts. If he connects, you're done. But he hasn't been good at dodging blows. He has the hands of Mike Tyson, but lacks the dodge and weave. Coming into this fight, after a previous tie and loss to Fury, he both muscled up to increase his power and developed new boxing skills. Lesson number 3. There's no one formula for a champion. It's a combination of inherent skills and relentless preparation. Every organization, likewise, is unique, and its approach to pricing strategy will be unique, because pricing is a cultural phenomenon. If you're a cost-based pricer, that means you have certain beliefs about how pricing should be executed in your organization, and those are radically different than a company that practices value-based pricing. Strategic pricing is also executed differently for software as a service and managed services and for tech support. The first 4 rounds showcased the strengths and adaptations of both fighters. Fury danced and jabbed, peppering Wilder. Wilder jabbed to Fury's gut, connecting repeatedly, showcasing his newly learned boxing skills. The first 2 rounds went to Wilder. Then in the 3rd round, Fury knocked down Wilder with a heavy right hook. Wilder was lucky to escape the round. In the 4th, however, Wilder regained his early momentum and knocked Fury down twice. This time it was Fury lucky to escape. The fight was living up to its hype. Lesson 4. Old dogs can learn new tricks. Wilder improved his boxing and Fury increased his power. Organizations can learn to improve pricing behaviors, but it takes effort. Pricing practices are cultural in organizations, and it takes effort and persistence to move from cost-based or market-based pricing to the higher margin models like value or outcome-based pricing. Before I move on with this video, I want to take a moment to tell you why I'm such a Tyson Fury fan. In 2015, after winning all the heavyweight belts and being at the top of his game, Fury fell into addiction, depression, and was suicidal. I've placed a link to his story at the end of the video. With help from his family, his faith, and the medical profession, he came back 3 years later to be the world champion again. And he's become a powerful advocate for mental health. If you or someone you love suffers from addiction or depression, there's a road back. Here are a couple of resources that are only a phone call away. Now back to the fight. In round 5, Fury took control of the ring and maintained it for the rest of the fight. Wilder abandoned his jabs to the body and was beginning to look tired and reverted to his power-punching ways. Teddy Atlas called it right. Wilder was running out of gas. Lesson number 5. When push comes to shove, old dogs will abandon new tricks. The true test of a pricing strategy is whether it sticks in the long run. That's a function of price management and governance. Do you have the policies and controls in place to manage good pricing behavior? Do your sales and channel partners have the skills and system support to sell value and negotiate price? And are your incentives structured to encourage good pricing behaviors? By round 6, Wilder's mouth was bloody from Fury's incessant jabs sneaking between his gloves. Jabs are not a power punch, but when 36 landed on Wilder's mouth, I guarantee they got his attention. Mike Tyson famously said, "Everyone has a plan until they get punched in the mouth." I wonder if Mike has a quote for 36 punches to the mouth. Lesson number 6. Jabs are the stock and trade of a good boxer. To reiterate, the basic blocking and tackling of effective price management is the stock and trade of a good pricer. What good is an amazing new product pricing strategy if your pricing power is lost through discounting and toothless escalations? Throughout the fight, Wilder kept throwing his power punches, but landed only 25%. Teddy Atlas described Wilder as throwing frisbees. Fury landed 43% of his power punches. Lesson number 7. Power punches often decide matches. In my view, power punches are like new product or new service pricing. That's where you get the most bang from your pricing strategy efforts. Our research has shown that managers often underestimate willingness to pay by 50% or more with new offerings because they don't understand willingness to pay. Of course, new offerings are fraught with risk and many fail. But if you can improve your odds of connecting, the results are both long-term growth and potentially huge margins. Late in the fight, Wilder was plodding and predictable, but Fury was still jabbing and dancing out of reach. Wilder's mouth and left ear were bleeding, his right eye was nearly closed, and we later learned that he'd broken his right hand. To his credit, Wilder soldiered on, landing occasional hammer blows that staggered Fury. Lesson number 8. Fury's boxing skills prevailed over Wilder's power punches. Just as in boxing, with pricing strategy it all comes down to preparation. Fury's fight preparation let him dance into the late rounds. Too often I see sales blamed for pricing's failures. And let me say it here, don't blame sales. In 90% of cases, it's not sales' fault. Price management must do all the preparation work in advance and consistently for sales to do their job in the closing rounds. By the end of the fight, Fury landed twice as many blows as Wilder, knocking him down 3 times, the last time in the 11th round. The fight was between the 2 Goliaths of the heavyweight division, each at the top of their game. Thanks for joining me for this bit of fun learning, and let me know in the comments what you'd like next. For more information about the amazing comeback of Tyson Fury, click here. And for more about pricing strategy, click here.